Who would have guessed? Baxcalibur got quick banned from the Gen 9 overused tier. In one of my recent videos we went over all the new changes in the DLC, and I said in the next 7 days this Pokemon's getting banned. Long and behold, I was right. So, the whole council voted ban for this Pokemon, not surprised at all. But, you know, why did it get banned exactly? Because before the DLC, this Pokemon, it was one of the strongest Pokemon around, probably the strongest sweeper, wall breaker, one of the strongest wall breakers in the tier. But now with the DLC, this Pokemon gained Skill Shot, and it was done. Not to mention you could use it with loaded dice. Then you have the release or the introduction of a lot of Ninetales back into the game with Snow Warning plus Auroraville. You get that defense boost on the Baxcalibur. You have the Auroraville, you have Terra. This Pokemon's done. Anyway, this most potent set. So with the release of the DLC, Baxcalibur gained a massive buff. Skill Shot. Why is this such a big deal? Before, Baxcalibur had to use this most potent set, at least, was Dragon Dance sets. That's basically all Dragon Dance sets. You had your standard Dragon Dance set, then you had your that was coming up lately with the release of Pokemon Home, the substitute Ice Body set. You had Swords Dance set as well, but these were not as common, and you had Choice Band sets, which were also not very common at all. Basically, Dragon Dance is where it was at. Now you don't need Dragon Dance anymore. Skill Shot, Sword Stance, Icicle Spear where they at? Oh, Icicle Spear, Earthquake, and Loaded Dice. This is it. So why is this so potent? Now, first of all, this Pokemon's already very strong. 145 base attack stat. I mean, goddamn. Its bulk is also good. It's actually very good. Its typing, defense typing is not that great, but its bulk is still good. Its speed stat is alright, I guess. It's good, especially because you are getting that speed boost. Now, since you don't need Dragon Dance anymore because you have Skill Shot, boost your speed of course after a hit. With Loaded Dice, this will be 100 base power minimum. Same goes for Icicle Spear. So you got 100 base power step moves. They have Sword Stance, boost your attack by 2 stages. They got Earthquake as coverage, also 100 base power. The perfect coverage you can have because this step combination gets walled by Steel types. So yeah, 135 base attack set, boosted by Sword Stance, 100 base power moves. What the hell, man? Now, they have Thermal Exchange, which is not like problematic, but it did make this Pokemon significantly better. Raise your attack stat by 1 stage when hit by fire move, but the more important part, you cannot be burnt, so you cannot be stopped by that. Now, I even saw people using Skill Shot plus Dragon Dance, which I was not a fan of, but I can see the appeal. After 1 speed boost, you are faster than the entire metagame, except for fast Pokemon like Scoffin Amorous and Busari Valiant. The problem with Sword Stance is if they switch into a Fairy type as you Sword Stance, you are left with no speed boost. So you will be easily revenge killed after. With Dragon Dash, you can boost up. If they do decide to switch to a Fairy type, you're still faster, so they are forced to switch into their Enamorous or Iron Valiant, which means they will either reveal the choice scarf, you can take advantage of that next turn, or they will be wasting their booster Iron Valiant. Now, that's why you could be using Dragon Dance. As I said, not really my cup of tea, but it was an option. Now, pair this with Alolan Ninetales, which has been very good with the release of the DLC. You get Snow Boost, so your defense increased, harder to take down, of course. Auroraville makes this Pokemon even bulkier. You got Terra Fairy, still is very good, allows you to not get revenge killed by Sucker Punch and Gambit as easily. But yeah, no surprises this Pokemon was banned. It's way too strong. It was already on the radar before the DLC, and now it's just too much. So what's gonna happen now? I suspect a few things. First of all, maybe we see Roaring Moon return to the OU tier, because as a Dragon Dance Sweeper, there was no reason to use this over Baxcalibur. in my opinion at least. But this Pokemon did gain knockoff, so a flat buff to its damage output with knockoff. But I don't know though, because my boy Garchomp, he got buffed right on time, because this Pokemon was about to drop to the UU tier. But now I don't think it's gonna happen anymore, especially with Baxcalibur also being banned. Now, Garchomp also gained Skill Shot, which is basically, it's gonna go back to his Gen 8 sets. But it's even stronger now, because you also could use Loaded Dice on Garchomp. So you got 100 base power Skill Shot, you got Sword Stance boosting its, you know, already great attack stat. Then you got Earthquake, of course 100 base power, and you got Stone Edge. I would say use Stone Edge, because you do need that for an Emorest, or otherwise you will be walled by that. Maybe Fire Fang, but it's not needed. Fire Fang just hits Corvus Ignite a little harder, but there's no Ferrothorn right now, so you don't even need Fire Fang. So yeah, I can see Garchomp definitely rising up, especially with Baxcalibur being banned. And with that speed boost, a lot of Garchomp's problems go away, because it was revenge killed by many of the faster Pokemon in tier, especially those fast fairy types we already talked about. And maybe a stretch, but we might see Weavile rising up. Now, Weavile gained knockoff back, which is a huge buff for this Pokemon. It also gained Icicle Spear, so maybe we can see knockoff plus Icicle Spear with Loaded Dice, Sword Stance, Ice Shard, basically kind of what it did in Gen 8. Now, there's no triple axle, or unfortunately, but maybe. Now, one thing to note as well. They said, stay tuned for the following in the coming days. SVOU tiering survey results. There's basically a survey going on, then they ask the players like, hey, is this problematic? How problematic is this? What you think about the metagame? Kind of a survey about the metagame. Potential first post DLC SVOU radar, and potential future tiering votes or suspects. Very curious to hear what you think might get banned next, or will be potentially banned next, or is on the radar, because I'm kind of in the dark, to be honest. I've not been playing as much as I would like. Been very busy as of late, but yeah, so I'm curious to see what is going to be on the radar next. Let me know your thoughts about Baxcalibur getting banned. Did you expect it to be banned? If you knew it got skill shot, probably, but let me know what you think is gonna get banned next, or at least looked at next. And thank you for watching, and see you next time.